historically, there's been a historical injustice for Africa for not being a member of the UN Security Council. 75% of the discussions that take place in the Security Council is about Africa. But Africa is not available as a permanent representative in the United Nations, and decisions are taken on Africa where they are not given an opportunity to express themselves. Therefore, under something we call the group of countries, C10, who were formed under the auspices of the AU, to advocate and front the debate towards the reform of the UN, we have something called the Uzulini Consensus. Under the Uzulini Consensus, Africa is demanding for 2 seats, 2 permanent seats in the Security Council with veto rights. That's our position. We don't want nothing more, we don't want nothing less. What Africa wants is 2 permanent seats in the UN and with veto rights. And this has been expressed by the various ministers there. But Africa has also gone a long way in generosity. You know, Africans are very generous. The breed of Africans are very generous. Even if they're beaten up, even if they're punished, even if they're enslaved, they always forgive and say, let's forgive and forget, and let's move on. On top of that, we're saying that when Africa has permanent seats in the UN, why don't also South America have seats in the United Nations Security Council? To be fair, South America is not on the Security Council as well. Asia also is not in the Security Council. So we're saying that why is it that only a few members, a club of a few countries are in the Security Council, when all members of the countries, at least each continent, should have representation in the UN Security Council?
Thank you so much. Among the issues that Honorable Jeje Odong said that they are going to be discussing about during this particular summit is about terrorism. And very many now member states, member countries are facing terrorism attacks and rebel groups. But my worry is about the countries that now members try to go to those countries and fight those rebel and terrorism groups, but those countries send those that come to fight those rebel groups back to their countries and withdraw troops from those countries. Do you think you will come out with a solution to this, of countries within members of NAM fighting members of NAM again to come and provide a solution?
Yes. Well, I didn't understand. I know you're talking about terrorism, but I didn't understand this.
Let me give an example. For example, let's talk about, for example, DRC. The ADF and M23 maybe here in Uganda. We remember when recent just Uganda withdrew the troops and their troops from DRC, and South Sudan also withdrew. We didn't withdraw our troops from the DRC. Our troops are still there. But some members, some countries withdrew from
East African Community Regional Force. But on the issue of terrorism, yes, there will be discussions on the issue of terrorism within the NAM countries, condemning terrorism, discouraging members of the NAM from supporting or encouraging terrorism or sponsoring terrorism amongst themselves, and making terrorism a priority in the issue of peace and security amongst the NAM countries. In the absence of peace and security and conflicts in these NAM countries, then that's what the NAM countries are fighting for or working for. All these things that are discussing here will be of no purpose. Nobody's going to invest. No tourists will come to your country. Will be diverted. Our attention will be diverted in dealing with the issue of terrorism and all the other matters about the reform of the financial system, the access to market, and all that will be of no purpose if members of NAM engage themselves or involve themselves in NAM and does not fight NAM terrorism. Therefore, terrorism is as important a discussion in NAM as other topics, because it's very diversionary, time-wasting, and very damaging to the economies. Thank you. I'll take one to this lady and I'm gone.
Minister, just a clarification. I take it as long as my question. Honorable Minister, just maybe if you can help us clarify some of the issues that were point of contestation during the senior officials meeting, the new developments that were not accommodated in the old document, for instance, the Gaza-Israel crisis that we're seeing, the geopolitics within the African bloc. Have the member states moved to have these issues addressed within the chairmanship of Uganda, or are they going to be accommodated in the old document?
The question was about, if you follow that matter closely, the question was about the language. Do we open up the language that was used under the old leadership when it comes to the issue of Gaza and Palestine, or do we maintain the language? I think it was agreed that in order for us to proceed without opening up the whole Pandora's box, it was agreed that we should maintain the language that was presented through what were previous the previous language that was presented should be the one to be used. If we had the Pandora's box been open and we allowed introduction of new languages, I'm sure the senior ministers meeting would have not senior officials meeting would not have taken place, or finished rather.
Last question.
What are you speaking about the language? Is this about, for example, the genocide declaration? What happened in Gaza?
Yeah. Yeah, we maintain the language. We're not changing the language yet. Pardon? Well, because you see, I'd advise you when you come to ask me questions, you read the document and answer the questions. If you don't read the document, then why ask the questions?
I think. Thank you, Honourable Minister.
I suggest you look on our internet, on the website of Foreign Affairs. You'll find all those documents are downloaded there. So you're asking about the language of documents which you yourself have not even seen. It's not healthy.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. And as you had indicated, the very last question from the lady, and thereafter, I thank you. We shall close this press briefing. Thank you.
I might not be able to come and there will be regular updates by my other colleague ministers. So those issues that you have not been able to raise will be raised. The day is still long, and I'm sure there will be somebody here by 3:34 to update you. Okay? Thank you. Don't fight among yourselves, huh?
Uganda, other organizers giving me this opportunity to share some of that. Actually, the session is focusing on unpacking the offer of East Africa to the investor. Why the international investor should look into the East Africa region seriously for investment. So even though the moderator asked me to highlight what the UNDP has been doing, let me actually go with the theme of the session quickly, then come back to quickly on that. First, actually, I wanted to focus 3 quick issues. The first